Welcome to the Mindfulness broadcast. If we have not connected, although all of your names are very familiar, I'm Tiffany Grimes with Empower. And I want to pause and I did want to introduce myself this morning because it has to do with our topic today, which are kind of getting lost in our titles, getting lost in all of the roles that we play. So, um, I have had over the last few weeks, there's just kind of a heavier load in my life than normally is there. We've been becoming a coach training academy, which has kind of been like dissertation level work of accreditation through ICF. And we finally submitted all of that through the International Coaching Federation. My children have started school, and my youngest really struggles with impulse control and self-regulation. And so we've already been, in the principal's office multiple times and, meeting with teachers and just kind of wrestling with my own guilt around feeling like my child is requiring anything more from public school teachers who already have such a huge load. And stuff going on and feeling really heavy. And also, you know, trying to coach myself through that and practice my mindfulness skills, because mindfulness is really lovely when things are great and it's easy. And it's the first thing that I can write off when I'm stressed or feeling overwhelmed or tired or drained. Oh, I don't have time for this, right? And so, really making sure, even as I've been struggling with sickness over the last week, just really engaging in my mindfulness practice so that I can be very intentional in this time. And so, what came to me with all of that work was this idea of titles and the roles that we play, and trying to personally, during this a bit more challenging time in my life, try to remove those, because just for a moment, they're not going away. I love most of those. But putting them over here just for a moment so that I can go, as I was kind of thinking about it, is this idea of like, look under the hood, remind myself of who I am. Who am I without those titles? Just who am I? What's feeding this engine that's driving all of these other things, right? And am I tending to that? So, as I dove in, who am I if I take away mom and founder and CEO and daughter and neighbor and all of these titles, if I take those off and I just look under the hood at, like, who is this person? I'm reminded that I'm creative, I'm funny, I like really good food that brings me such joy. I like growing my own food. I like spending quality time with my friends. I often call it kind of a mile deep rather than a mile wide. I'd way rather just spend, 2 days with somebody, one person, than a party. And just reminding myself of who am I and how do I help that person be resilient and thrive and come alive and influence my roles, as opposed to my roles always influencing this person, right? So this person always ends up kind of taking a back seat because the roles are so much more upfront and demanding and important, shall I say. I'm prioritizing those. And so it was just a reminder to me that I can prioritize both, and that it really is a practice. And so I'm hoping that that is speaking to you this morning as well, and that we can use our practice to help look under your hood of who are you when you take away all of those titles, and seeing how we can help that person um, get in the light a little bit and help influence the roles that we play. So with that, go ahead and close your eyes or you can take a soft gaze. Feel your body this morning. Notice your positioning, notice your feet, notice your pelvis, your shoulders, and the crown of your head. Making any adjustments to those that help you get into this moment. Finding that place where your posture is attentive, purposeful. Saying good morning to any parts of your body that are calling your attention to it with discomfort or pain. Inviting them into this practice as well. Noticing the state of your own mind this morning. Noticing the state of your own emotions this morning. Welcoming them all and bringing them all into this practice. Just meeting ourselves where we are. Bringing your breath into this awareness as well. Noticing the quality of your breath, the warmth, the depth. Inviting your breath all the way down into your belly with a long, slow exhale through your lips. Doing that a couple times on your own and then returning to your normal breath. Maybe this idea that I've introduced is percolating. Maybe it speaks to you. And if it doesn't, know that you can simply stay focused on your breath in your body throughout the practice. I want to invite you to get curious, to explore through the lens of self-compassion, this idea of who am I? Who am I? And for most of us, what comes up first are these titles. And as they come up, see if you can acknowledge those and then set them aside and go deeper. What makes you tick? Who have you always been before the titles were there? Who are you at your essence? All those titles went away. What's left? Just observe what your mind brings forth without judgment, just curiosity and compassion. And if your mind drifts into story or to thought or distraction, just notice it and bring it back to your breath or to the question, who am I? What I find in my own life and in my work with so many people in the world of coaching, the answers to those questions, that person, that essence, it's like we reserve them for the weekends, for vacations, for retirement. What we feed tends to be more of the titles, where we put our energy, where we put our time, our money, our values, our priorities. My invitation to you this morning as we sit here in silence is to think about, how do we integrate these? This isn't a one over the other, or one is good and one is bad, or one is right and one is wrong, but rather these are all parts of who we are. And how do we integrate those? How do we become more mindful of our whole being? Just observe whatever's coming forth for you. Perhaps it's more questions. Perhaps it's ideas. Perhaps it's confusion. And just noticing. And for the sake of the practice, I'm going to blend those and close the hood, putting all of these beautiful complexities of our identity and how we live our life back under the hood, knowing that we've made some level of adjustment or curiosity with it. Find yourself back in your body, your feet, your pelvis, your shoulders, the crown of the head. Find your breath moving in and moving out. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes and come back together. Thanks for being here, everyone.